तो आपने स्टार्ट कर देना।
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rabak Tahir and I welcome you all to another episode of Khud Aagahi, a quantum leap. Today we will be talking about a very crucial subject, that is truthfulness. Like we all know that truthfulness is the most repeated lesson or advice that we all hear from our elders and parents since our childhood till we are grown up, that we have to be truthful, you don't have to lie, you have to be really, really honest and stuff like that. So today we will be digging deep into the subject, and we would like to know the different dimensions of what actually the truthfulness is, why is it so important for a person to be truthful, and most importantly, why is it very rare nowadays for us to be to find this truthfulness in people. To better understand the topic, we have with us our guests today. First of all, I would like you guys to introduce. I would like you guys to get to know our first guest, which is Murid Abbas Bukhari Sahab. You all know him already. He has been doing a lot of programs online. He is a personality development coach, trainer, and he has been conducting a lot of programs online and otherwise. We welcome you, sir, to the program.
Gee, thank you so much for inviting me on a very. The topic is very vision to everyone, and this is really hope me myself try my level best to put my 2 cents, whatever the wisdom I have.
Thank you so much. Next with us is Tahir Nihar Bajwa. He has also been conducting a lot of live sessions and programs before. He's an entrepreneur. He has been running different sorts of businesses for like past 20 years. Nowadays, he has stepped into a world of research and development, and you all know that he has been working on a lot of big projects to, change the dynamics of private research and development in the country. So we welcome you to the program, sir.
Thank you, Rabab. Thank you for having me. It is, in fact, always been a pleasure to talk to you, especially on this forum.
Thank you. So, guys, we would like to start off from the very basic question that we all have in our mind, that what actually is truthfulness? Why is it so important? Basically, what are those elements or things that define this very idea of being truthful to yourself and to others? So, I would like to start off with Sir Murid Bukhari. Sir, please shed some light on what actually is truthfulness, or what do we understand by the phenomena?
I just wanted to, this one thing is that we can speak out in English or we can speak any
I think
our
we can
own
speak
language.
both.
Okay, that's great. ओके अब क्योंकि मेरे सीनियर यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, दोस्त भी हैं, ताहिर भाई, अब मैं तो जो भी लाइट डालूंगा तो ये फिर ऊपर से टॉर्च डालेंगे, तो मैं जो है कोशिश करूंगा कि वो लाइट जो है सही फोकस्ड हो। तो ट्रूथफुलनेस से पहले जो है ना, मैं थोड़ा सा मतलब हमें ये चीज़ देखनी पड़ती है क्योंकि जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ होती है आपकी कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग में या आपकी पर्सनैलिटी बिल्डिंग के लिए, वो ऑनेस्टी होती है। क्योंकि आप किसी और के साथ ऑनेस्ट नहीं होते, आप अपने साथ ऑनेस्ट होते हैं। अगर आप अपने साथ ऑनेस्ट हैं तो वो चीज़ें रिफ्लेक्ट होती हैं आपकी पर्सनैलिटी में, वही चीज़ें रिफ्लेक्ट होती हैं आपके काम में, वही चीज़ें रिफ्लेक्ट होती हैं आपकी किसी और के साथ रिलेशनशिप में। तो ये सारी चीज़ें इंटरलिंक्ड, तो इसकी ट्रूथफुलनेस जो है वो उसकी बेसिक यही है कि आपकी ऑनेस्टी आपके अपने साथ कितनी है, क्योंकि जब आप अपने साथ ऑनेस्ट हैं तो देन यू रिफ्लेक्ट टू अदर थिंग्स, मतलब आपके काम में, आपके रिलेशनशिप में, आपकी डेली फैमिली के साथ, व्हाटएवर। सो दैट्स द बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स। उसके बाद ऐसी बात है कि वो जितना आप उसको एक दो लेवल ऊपर लेते जाएंगे तो वो फिर उसी तरह है जैसे अगर आपने मैस्लो हायरार्की लेवल पढ़ा है तो ये इसमें भी वो लेवल है कि आप कौन से लेवल पे स्टैंड करते हैं, और वो फिर उसका लास्ट लेवल वही है कि जो आप और मैं या ताहिर भाई तो नहीं, लेकिन जो पीरो मुर्शिद हो जाते हैं जाके फिर, और फिर जो है वो अपनी उस मकाम पे या उस कहते हैं ना कि एक बहुत हाई लेवल जिसे कह सकते हैं पीक पे पहुंच जाते हैं कि जहाँ पे वो अपनी ये सारी चीजों को ट्रांसफॉर्म करते हैं दूसरों के अंदर. तो इस मेरी तरफ
Thank
से
you,
तो ये.
thank you for your precious views. Now, Tahir, I would like you to explain a bit more about what is truthfulness in your opinion.
I think Shah Saab has said something very important and integral to know truthfulness. I believe that the reality in which we exist, I mean, it has certain things uh, which define this reality, uh, describe this reality, and everything which exists and everything which is true. Once you are able to accept this, once and then when we're talking about existence, we have to understand that this existence for us, our existence is premier to anything else. Now, if I want to accept me as a reality, that is the beginning. When I look at
Hmm.
myself in the mirror, I see my picture. Who am I?
Hmm.
Now, this is the first step to accept the reality. Something
Hmm.
which I can see, which I can touch, which I can feel, which I can smell, and I cannot deny is the truth.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then, of course, to understand truthfulness in reference to human character, I believe that the people who somehow come to a level where they understand um, themselves as reality and they understand themselves as true, they actually start to believe in truthfulness, and then of course they start to demonstrate through their practices and what they do in life. So mainly it is the acceptance of reality. What is real? Once you accept this in everything, I mean that is what is truthfulness.
Wow. You have, I think, beautifully explained the concept itself. Now, the question is that why is it so difficult for us to accept this reality then? Because we see that, we have been talking about it and we have been discussing a lot that, we are not being truthful to ourselves. This is why all these, drawbacks or laggings that we face in our life is because we are not being truthful to ourselves, to others. So why is it so difficult for people to accept this reality that you're talking about?
Because the thing is
That,
that due to nowadays
okay,
the
please,
problem
you can answer.
the problem is it's with the time zone. Because if we can go in the previous past things, so there's no virtual reality was there, only the imagination and other things will be there were there.
Hmm.
But now, because everything is virtually developed, the VR, the new things and everything, so that due to this, what happened? Because we are like the generation which is we have seen the phrases, we have seen the surprises, I can call it. But the new
Hmm.
generation is they have the issue. That's why they have the more scarcities. They have the more you can say anxiety and the problem of the confusion because they have seen virtually everything. Okay, so they still, you can see the games nowadays what the people are doing in the games, so they
Hmm.
indulge themselves into that reality. They never accept what is in the real, what they feel, what they touch, what, like जिस तरह ताहिर भाई ने बड़े अच्छे तरीके से कि मतलब जो चीज़ हम फील कर सकते हैं, जो चीज़ हम देख सकते हैं, जिस चीज़ को हम, तो वो हमारी एग्जिस्टेंस है, उस एग्जिस्टेंस
Hmm.
की जो रियलिटी है वो हम जो रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहे होते हैं. लेकिन ये जो एक आर्टिफिशियल एक चीज डेवलप हो गई है टेक्नोलॉजी, ठीक है, टेक्नोलॉजी इट्स मेक सेंस टू मेक सिंप्लीफाई द लाइफ ऑफ द पीपल. बट इसका जो एक रॉन्ग इम्पैक्ट हुआ है रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग में अगर देखा जाए, तो वो ये इम्पैक्ट हुआ है कि उसने लोगों को बिल्कुल इमेजिनरी वर्ल्ड में डाल दिया है. ठीक है,
Hmm. So basically, this is
सोशल,
technology that is pushing us away
हाँ,
from our
देखिए
original reality.
वही ना सोशल मीडिया या जो गेम्स हैं, गेम्स या 3D एनिमेशंस हैं, उसमें आपकी सारी फुलफिलमेंट डाल दी है। अब उसकी सारी फुलफिलमेंट, सारे आपके इमोशंस, आपकी फीलिंग्स, सारी चीजों को इतना इंटैक्ट कर दिया है, इंडल्ज कर दिया है कि वो रियलिटी में उसको शायद वो फील ही नहीं हो रहा होता। रियलिटी में दैट्स वाई वो अपनी अपनी मतलब जैसे फर्ज करें सोशल मीडिया पे उसकी एक अलग पर्सनैलिटी है और घर में उसकी एक अलग पर्सनैलिटी है, तो उसके दरमियान इतना कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गया है कि वो प्रिटेंड कर रहा है। जैसे हम कहते हैं कि देयर इज अ सिटी इन यूई, एवरीथिंग इज आर्टिफिशियल, ठीक है, कि एक प्रिटेंडिंग लाइफ है। हर हर कोई वहां पे जो है एक रेस में है जो फेक है, मतलब कहते हैं बिफोर फेक इट एंड मेक इट। अब वो फेक इट और मेक इट में इतना आगे चले गए हैं कि वो रियलिटी को भूल गए हैं। वो उस चीज को जो रियल में है जिसको एक्सेप्टेंस करके उसने, हाँ आप, मैं कहता हूँ कि वो चीज बेहतर है कि अगर उसको आप देख के अपने आप को डेवलप करें, अपने आप को बिल्ड करें, नॉट ये कि आप उस इमेजिनरी वर्ल्ड में ही चले जाएं, उस फैंटेसी के अंदर ही जिंदगी भर गुजार दें, जिसकी वजह से मसाइल बहुत सारे हैं। और ये
So basically, what we're pointing towards is that there is this, intangible pressure within our culture जो कि force कर रहा है वो fit in वाले phenomena को, that it is forcing people that
yes,
to try to fit into the society, and that is basically pushing them away from being, authentic. This is what you're trying to say, right?
बिकॉज प्रेशर इतना है ना। अब बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जिनमें इतनी मतलब वही वाली बात है, ट्रूथफुलनेस है कि दे आर स्टैंडर्ड कन्फ्रंट कर सकते हैं। अदरवाइज जिसका मोरल नहीं है, जिसके एथिक्स नहीं है, जिसकी पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट इतनी अच्छी नहीं हुई हुई, जिसके आप कह लें कि एट्रीब्यूट्स इतने अच्छे नहीं है, तो वो फिर जाहिर सी बात है कि वो वीकन है, बैक एंड पे कुछ नहीं है, तो वो टोटली इट्स गॉन। दिस इज व्हाट हैपनिंग।
Okay, so what is your take on it, Tahir? Tahir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think, honestly, I was thinking about it while listening to Shaji. And in reality, I think there are two aspects to, you see, how we get into the denial mode, the one basically Shaji referred to through media or other outlets. But I think it starts from the very beginning. When being a child, we are raised, and then somehow our logic doesn't get developed to a level where we kind of accept that denial, because once a person understands that what is a denial and what is acceptance to reality. I mean, once you accept this, then the differentiation is very clear. Now you know that this is real, this is true, and this is not real, this is not true. Now it happens in everything. Human brain has to process hundreds and thousands of things every day, in which we have to differentiate on the basis of whatever logic we have developed, whatever understanding we have developed. Now what happens is, I believe that somehow certain things, uh, they somehow affect the faculty of understanding. Like our understanding doesn't get developed to a level where this logic is completely formed, and then it forces you every time when you have to differentiate between the two things, one being real and one being not real. And I think the people who are being referred here, जिस तरह शाजी ने पहले कहा कि कुछ लोग जो यकीनन किसी लेवल पे चले जाते हैं. Now these are the people who have a very, very clear distinction. And somehow I believe that the people who are able to understand this distinction, accept this distinction, then it gets very difficult for them to deny it, or you see, land into this denial mode in anything or everything they deal in or with. So I think it is how our brains are nurtured. our brains, they have to come to a level, a certain level, where they reach this clear conclusion and they understand this distinction. Then I think they if they falter, or if they like they go the other way around, then it means that it is clear cut intentional route which they are taking, while they know that this is something which is not true. But
But in the
their
first
their
place,
their characteristics to understand, or to differentiate something which is real and something which is not real, or true or untrue, is there. But now they are taking a choice of going the other route, and this is where I think जो शाजी कह रहे हैं कि गेम्स और मीडिया और दूसरी चीजें, this is where they are playing this part. The other example can actually fit on kids, the underdeveloped brains. But I mean, a person like me or you or Shaji, if we are doing something wrong, or we are lying to people, or we are making up things, or we are trying to portray something which is not real, it is absolutely intentional. And somehow, then I think we can talk about the next level. Then, when it happens that the person with developed brain, a very, very clear logical understanding, makes a choice to go into a denial mode, now where it leads and how it happens.
so basically, you've hinted towards a very, very important thing, I guess. When you're saying that your brain has to reach to a certain level of understanding to distinguish clearly between the real and the fake, right? So
Yeah.
when you do not happen to reach to that level, does that imply that you have been gone into some kind of self doubt, and this self doubt is now driving you towards being away from the from real reality, let's say, and not letting you go into that actual thing that you're supposed to go in.
That's I've just like little bit added here when that I discuss about the logic, because this is the totally what the denial. It is the total phenomena. Adding in the philosophy, there is in logic there is like 15 types of fallacies that we fall into that every day what we are doing. So which is again the denial of error and erroring on daily life basis. So this is defined in the philosophy. This is in the human philosophy. If we don't reach to the level of logic or any yes or no thing, so we fallen into these kind of the things. That's we make us on the denial stage, and we as you said, we fallen into the other criteria.
Sai, what would you like to say about being in self doubt, and then that self doubt, uh, playing a role as a driving force to pushing you away from your authentic self?
ताहिर भाई ये तो सेल्फ डाउट तो कहीं नहीं है, ये तो आप पहले बता
uh, Shaji, I would say that doubt, it's not self-doubt. I won't call it self-doubt, really.
Okay.
I would give the margin of error, because honestly, I understand probably only two things. The third thing I don't really understand. The third thing is this mind in which your logic is not completely developed, and then the clear distinction is not made. I mean, I have never experienced this brain. Thus, I would probably not be able to represent this brain. But if I will use the guesswork, then I would say that these are the people who somehow, number one, they lack the clear distinction, like their clear logic wasn't developed, and thus the clear distinction was not made. Number one. And number two, there is this phenomena which I think will clarify a lot of things. Now, what happens is that when we have the clear distinction, our logic is properly formed and we understand right from wrong very, very clearly. And still, we make wrong choices, and still we lie, and still we doubt also, and still we choose things which are not real, which are not real truth. Now, why is that? I think if we understand this phenomena, then probably we can get back and then we can talk about those brains who are having or who probably have had the problem to get to the first place.
Hmm.
Now, what happens is that there are things in this world which are real, which are seeable or feelable, smellable. I mean, you can use any of your five senses, or even I think I would use five only. Use your five senses, and then you would know that these things exist.
Sixth sense goes to the ladies, man. That's why.
That goes to a ladies, and then because I wanted to use the sixth sense for something else also. Now, now there is this sixth sense which is there with us to accept and understand things which apparently are not real, which we don't see or we don't smell, or the main five senses don't reach there. But some logics are there, some vague understanding awaits us to, you see, dig deeper. But the clear distinction is not easily possible or available. One of those being faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing or believing in things which we have only heard.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go to verify logically, sometimes to some extent it gets verified, sometimes it doesn't. And then we have to come to the sixth sense and amalgamate these five with them and then try to find out or reach the conclusion. Now, what happens is that this phenomena actually plays a big part in people's becoming not truthful and not accepting the reality and or questioning the reality. Why? Because somehow human brain, if I was, take me as an example, if I was trying to understand if there is a God or no, and then I processed all the information given by my parents, you see, through study or through my experiences, whatever knowledge I had or the information was gathered, I processed that and still I was unable to conclude entirely that God is real. Now, what happens is that this provides you with the excuse to question so many things which are real.
Yeah.
Because this in itself is a great logic for a human brain, which we somehow in our subconscious mind, we provide to ourselves to question those things which are real, which we know. But because on the other hand, we somehow want to believe, or we are being told to believe, that you have to treat all those realities which are real and all those realities which you do not actually sense with all possible five senses of yours, treat them equally, treat them as good, just truthful, or simply deny them. Now, this is where the doubt creeps in, the doubt which you are talking about. This is why most of the people, when you talk to them, if they are the people of faith, now when we say the people of faith, it means that somehow through some logic or some understanding, they have made a clear distinction and chosen something which is not real, which is not seeable, hearable or smellable or tasteable, but still they have believed in it. Thus, they have now gotten this reasoning to believe so many other things which are not real. And this is why these are the people who would believe in like taking big risks. They, they would they would not like to 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 go after those lame excuses which most of the people with only reality based distinction carrying people, the ones who apparently have the understanding of truthfulness or the acceptance to reality, but the next step is missing. And that next step you can only take if you believe in something which you don't perceive with your five senses. Now, this is the reason that the people, and I just understood this while talking to you, probably, at least to my own understanding, that probably this is the reason that the people with sixth sense and using the sixth sense, they have developed this understanding to know and to feel and to accept things which are not apparently real for so many people who believe in just reality. They can actually take advances and they can take steps into future unseen events while believing that this is how it is and this is how it is going to be turning around for me.
Yeah, thank you. I think we will go into further details on where does this sixth sense come from, and what are those factors that contributes towards developing this sixth sense of yours that you're talking about. But before that, let's go a little bit into the phenomena of fears playing a part in not being truthful. So we hear a lot of things like, when people are fearful, they have certain, insecurities in them. They have certain fears in them. This is why they are not telling the truth, and most of them they are lying and faking it, and being hypocrite, whatever. So what do you think? Like, what role do fears have to play in not being truthful, Shaji?
That's basically we again it comes जो हमारे यहाँ एक सोसाइटी का फिनोमेना है लोग क्या कहेंगे. So this is the driving force for this fear and this thing which we are not accepting and which we are as this cognitive situation and confusion. Okay, because we rely on the opinion of and the judgment of the other people's. What itself, like me myself, like to be honest, I was in a trauma of a month before when I had this skin issue and I have to gone through this process, this transformation. So seriously, for the 10 days I was like not even went for a single meeting, not online conferences, and then I realized this what I am doing. That's I have some real issue. That's okay and change. So I have to accept that change. So because due to that pressure, मतलब मुझ जैसा बंदा भी जब इतने प्रेशर में आ जाता है तो बाकी तो बेचारे मेरे बहुत सारे मतलब मसाइल हैं. So that's been the judgmental on the other side, the prospections of the other people, what they think, what they will talk about it. So we care too much about themselves instead of ourselves. That's initially मैंने जैसे कहा ना, if we are honest to ourselves and we are transparent to ourselves, so there is no need to be the filter in whatever is going on. So you have to go through it. जैसे वही मैंने वर्चुअल लाइफ में कैमरास के इतने फिल्टर आ गए हैं कि आप जब तस्वीर खींचते हैं और रियलिटी में बंदा बहुत डिफरेंट होता है, वो इतने फिल्टर होते हैं उसके, तो वो भी डिफरेंट होता है. तो यू विल हैव अ सरप्राइज. तो मैं कहता हूँ फिल्टर लगा दो आप भाई, मतलब जैसे हो वैसे आप अपने आप को प्रेजेंट करो. क्योंकि ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन प्रॉब्लम ये है कि पहले जैसे हमारे यहाँ कहा जाता था, जो आपकी अक्ल व फहम जो होती है, जो आपकी तालीम व तरबियत जैसे होती है, आपका मेन कंसर्न होना चाहिए कि जो आपकी नॉलेज है और जो आप बोल रहे हैं वो कितना मायने या कितना वैल्यू एडिशन रखता है, इंस्टेड ऑफ बाकी चीजें सेकेंडरी है. द प्राइमरी इज दैट कि आप क्या चीज ट्रांसफॉर्म कर रहे हैं. आपका जैसे यस टुडे वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट कि ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, ठीक है, इससे हमें हासिल क्या होगा, गोल क्या है. उसको जब हम सामने रखेंगे तो हम रिजल्ट हमारा जो होगा या जो भी चीज हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे होंगे, जो चीज बोल रहे होंगे, जिस तरह भी हम नजर आ रहे होंगे, दैट्स द सेकेंडरी पार्ट. द प्राइमरी पार्ट इज व्हाट वैल्यू एडिशन ही और शी शुड बी डूइंग टू द अदर्स थिंग, अदर्स को, या अपनी लाइफ में या अपने लव वंस में. अगर हम इस चीज की ज्यादा परवाह करें कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, क्योंकि जिस तरह शाजी ने अपना अपना ताहिर भाई ने बात की, जो पूरी सिक्स सेंस की फिनोमेना की, और हम जैसे आज नेचर की भी बात कर रहे थे, कंपोजिशन ऑफ द नेचर, तो मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ कि वी आर द बाय प्रोडक्ट ऑफ अनकंट्रोल्ड एनर्जीज. मतलब सबको अब अलग कर दें अगर आप, और उसमें कितनी एनर्जीज है कि ना आप हवा को रोक सकते हैं, ना पानी को रोक सकते हैं, ना आप क्या कहते हैं जमीन से पौधा उगता है उसके फ्रूट को आप रोक नहीं सकते, कि उसमें इतनी एनर्जी होती है, इतनी पावर होती है, और उसमें करंट होता है. ना आप सूरज की रोशनी को, फिर आपकी लास्ट चीज आ जाती है स्प्रिट. तो स्प्रिट की तो मतलब वो तो ट्रांसफॉर्म करती है एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, ठीक है, क्योंकि उसमें जाना वापस वही है जहां से आई है. सो वो तो उसमें उसको तो कहते हैं ना, वो तो इनफाइनाइट है. सो आप ये देखें कि इतनी सारी चीजों को एक खुदा ने एक कंट्रोल्ड मुजस्मे में डाला है, तो आप खुद सोचें कि एक इंसान की पावर क्या हो सकती है. तो वो अगर हम यूटिलाइज करें एक राइट डायरेक्शन में, एक राइट उसमें, तो शायद हमें ये जो जजमेंटल व्यूज हैं या लोग क्या कहेंगे, इन सब चीजों को हम बहुत पहले डिनाइल कर सकते हैं, और वी एक्सेप्टेड व्हाट हाउ वी आर व्हाट वी आर. और हाँ, आपको अच्छे से अच्छा बनना है, मतलब वो उसकी तलाश और उसकी सर्च जैसे होती है ना, वाई और पर्पस वाला, वो तो आपने करना है डेली बेसिस पे. यू हैव टू डेवलप, यू हैव टू डू योर पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट, और वो तो जरूरी है अगर आपने दूसरों के लिए वैल्यू एडिशन करनी. अगर नहीं करनी तो ठीक है, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट पार्ट. बट वो आपने करनी है क्योंकि आप खुदा ने भेजा किसी काम के लिए गया है. अब किस काम के लिए भेजा गया ये आपको सर्च करना है.
Thank you, Shaji. Tahir, I would like you to pinpoint certain kinds of fear that people who lie they go through, and this is why they are unable to put their true selves on the table. So, what could be those fears? I mean, let's say, is that a fear of being judged, fear of being exposed, or what else? What could be those fears that prevent a person from being its authentic self?
First of all, I would like to provide an alternative to the word sixth sense for our discussion to progress.
Sure.
Now, this is not exactly the sixth sense. I use this word because I wanted everybody to actually have the initial idea where we headed. No, I did not want that. I mean, I just wanted them to understand that where we are starting. Now, where we are headed is something which we will understand through the alternative word, and that is intuition. Now, this is intuitively somehow, let's say, intuitive bargain for us to provide a good theme. Now, it is an intuitive bargain which we are talking about when we talk about all those fears and doubts.
Yes.
I believe, and it is just now that I have started to believe, that most of our fears, we can talk about all those fears, but most of those fears stem from just one reality, and that reality is doubt, which we generally call self-doubt. Now, self-doubt, I think we can classify self-doubt into different categories. But I would like to use self-doubt as just one self-doubt, and then try to understand with all of you that how it plays its part to tell us that when to be fearful, how to be fearful, and then out of this fear, how to react or act. Now, if you look closely, all those fears which we talk about. Like, let's talk that I fear that somebody would suddenly come into my room and probably do something to me, something which I don't understand. And this could be some extraterrestrial, this could be some um, paranormal, I don't know, some alien, anybody, or some jinn, or maybe someone, some person. But I have this fear. Now, if we try to understand all those fears, because now we are talking about the fears of unknown only. We will talk about fear of known also, but the fear of unknown, if we understand where it is coming from, then probably we will have a way to understand the fears coming from known sources. Now, this fear of unknown comes from uncertainty. Like, I am deep inside me, somehow I am not very properly rooted person as a personality. Why? Because somehow by the age of 48, I am unable to accept that thousands of people, in fact, hundreds and thousands of people who I have witnessed with my bare eyes, open eyes, that the people they come and they go. People they get into accidents, people they die, people they get injured, people they get hurt, people they get sick, and all those realities I have witnessed. But somehow, for some stupid logic or understanding, I was unable to believe truly that it can also happen to me. Now, the moment you are truthfully, 100% truthfully able to accept that the people who it has been happening to were the people like me, and there is no proper or real logic available to me to believe that it will not happen to me, I would certainly be out of this fear of unknown. Because whatever is the outcome of this fear of unknown. I have been watching this and I am just fearing this. Why? Because I don't want to accept it. Thus, if you go back now from to the previous example when we talked about people of faith, now see why they become so brave and so courageous, because somehow they have accepted that one day I'm going to die, maybe this is the day, and that day is probably the today. I probably land myself into some kind of trouble right now. Anything can happen. Even this building can collapse any moment, and then probably I will perhaps not be able to complete the sentence which I was on. Now, once you deeply, intuitively accept this reality, this is real. Now, this is not something for which we need our intuition to play some part. This is something which with your five senses you have witnessed, you have seen, and every day it happens. Like you see, last year my mother died. Before that, all my grandparents they are dead. So many friends of mine they are dead. Uh, Numerous people from my own family they have gone, and hundreds and thousands of people I have heard that they are dead also while I was alive, but still I do not want to accept it for myself.
Yes.
Now I think once you are able to accept those realities entirely fully, which your five senses are clearly 100% assuredly providing you all the stimulus for to accept, I think it becomes easy for you to get out of those doubts, which those unseen realities which somehow we have to accept. Or probably this is something paradoxical, where one thing if is missing, this other is missing. If this is missing, then probably it was because the other thing is missing. I am thinking while I'm talking, and what I am understanding is that probably there is a way, and probably we are able to decipher that way if we dig little deeper to get into one. Because if you get to the one, it means that the other is a bonus for you. Like if you become a person of faith, the doubt is going to go anyway. Or somehow, if you are able to remove self doubt, you are going to become a person of faith anyway.
Thank you so much, Tahir. Now let's come to another dimension of being truthful. We talk a lot about connecting with people, and we talk about things like human beings. They are instinctively wired for connection and love and belonging, right? So how is being authentic and being truthful is linked to um, that connection that we usually talk about, and how does it help you build those meaningful connection with people, and how it supports it,
I
being
wanted to
truthful.
have this sting to actually have some energy, but your question has already given me this energy. So if Shaji would allow me, then I would
Please, sir,
straight
go
away.
ahead. Go
Thank you,
ahead.
sir. Uh, it is something beautiful has come in my head while you were asking this question. We every day in Pakistan, especially every day, me, you, Shaji, everybody else who's listening, they all go through one phenomena, and that is disturbance during your telecommunication connections, telephonic calls, and even you see our internet. We will have problems because the connection is not strong enough. I hope you are getting to where I am leading you to. Now, human connections, because those connections, and you truly said and rightly said that we are all wired, but we are not only wired inside, we are wired, interwired maybe with everybody else, including this universe. So we have this strong magnetic connection with everybody. Those communication wires are there between you, me, Shaji, and everybody else listening, and everybody and everything that exists. Now, how your being truthful is going to impact that connection is now very clear. That the connection is going to be very stronger, very crystal clear. Probably I would think in my heart, and then you would know, because the communication has no interruptions at all. It
Yes.
is based on two people having very strong bandwidth, and that bandwidth is you being truthful.
Very rightly said, very rightly said. Shaji, would you like to share something about this question?
बिकॉज तायर भाई ने इतनी मतलब दरिया को पूछने में मत कर दिया इसमें मैं सिर्फ यही क्योंकि उन्होंने बड़ी सी एग्जांपल दी है कि ये कनेक्ट कि जिस तरह द वे ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन द फ्रीक्वेंसीज कनेक्टेड ईच अदर इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द सिमिलर उसी तरीके से कि अगर वो उसका कहीं ब्रेकेज होता है तो आपकी वॉइस अब जैसे हमारा इंटरनेट सही नहीं हो ब्रेकेज हो तो हमारी वॉइस जो है वो किसी को नहीं जा पा रही होगी ना हमारी पिक्चर जाएगी तो वो ब्रेकेज मीन्स यही है कि कहीं पे लिंक में वल्नरेबिलिटी है खराबी है ठीक है एक्सपोज्ड है so same thing in the relationship if we are connected with the people if we are not truthful we are not accepting how we are so how if we are pretending to others in any relationship in any connection in any terms so how we define because it will be ended up somewhere else in a very worse condition this is how the phenomena is working. It's like a cycle. So if we are truthfulness with ourselves and honest with ourselves and transparent to ourselves, so it's a flag to the maybe we can fake it with the peoples, but we don't fake it with the our creator. And everything is like faith and with what we described that by very well. So because the same thing is how if our connection is very strong over there, that's so everything is revealed in our personality. So that personality also revealed in front of the peoples, and that's also in earlier I discussed in detail that if we are honest to ourselves, then we are honest to other things, which is connected with our life, like it's our relationship, our job, our family, our business deals, our business terms. Because and also in my experiences in my life, I have seen a lot of things. Because there are people in your life, but at certain time they all disappear. That is the reason, because they connected with not with your personality, not with yourself. They connected with the other protocols and privilege
Tradition.
of your life.
Hmm.
Maybe someone is impressed with your personality, someone is impressed with your job, someone is impressed with your car. So that connection is linked with some, you know, untangible things or tangible things. You can say that. Once
Hmm.
it gone, they disappear. So the relationship is it's very important, because once you will be into because normally I always into my all partners and in my business things I said, for me relationship is very important. Like me and
Hmm.
Tyre, we knew each other more than a year, and uh, we discuss everything of our that life. We discuss business, everything, but we enjoy the company. We enjoy
Hmm.
like hours or hours we are sitting, but we don't feel the time zone is also pinpointing us, and we can discuss every aspect of life. So this is main thing is that, because what how we are meeting with each other. That's the main thing. So because जिस
Exactly.
तरह है उस तरह है. So ये चीज जो है वो हमें अब जो न्यू जनरेशन है उसमें हमें ये ट्रांसफॉर्म करनी है, बिकॉज ये प्रॉब्लम अब आ रहे हैं. और दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द फिनोमेना ऑफ द वर्चुअल रियलिटी एंड द टेक्नोलॉजी. उसको मैंने कहा ना कि हाउ पॉजिटिवली वी कैन डू द इम्पैक्ट ऑन द थिंग्स. तो वही वाली बात है कि ब्रॉड बैंड आपकी स्ट्रांग है, सारी चीजें स्ट्रांग है, ठीक है. अगर आपको बोलना ही नहीं आ रहा तो आपकी तो फ्रिक्वेंसी सही नहीं है ना, फिर आप क्या करेंगे. दिस इज हाउ कि अगर आप वो वाली बात है कि अगर आप बात करें, जैसे ताहिर भाई कहते हैं ना कि मैं दिल में उतर रहा हूँ, तो जब बात करें तो दिल में उतर जाए आप. मतलब वो आप वो वाली बात है कि जब आप दिल से बात करेंगे तो वो अगले के दिल में उतरेगी, तो वो
ठीक
असर
है.
भी करेगा.
उसमें
Yeah.
एक चीज आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड.
Sure. Sure.
ये जो शाजी ने कहा ना दिल में उतरने वाली बात, तो इसमें और शाजी ने बहुत देखें, शाजी की जो खूबसूरती है वो ये है कि शाजी दिल के खूबसूरत आदमी है.
No doubt about it.
जो नॉलेज है, जिसको हम नॉलेज कहते हैं, असल में वो खूबसूरत होता ही तब है जब एक खूबसूरत हार्ट या एक खूबसूरत ब्रेन उसको कैरी करता है. वरना तो देखिए, शैतान के पास भी बहुत नॉलेज है. दुनिया में बहुत हजारों करोड़ों लोग ऐसे हैं जो दिन रात लोगों को लूट रहे हैं, लोगों के साथ ज्यादतियां कर रहे हैं, बल्कि अपनों के साथ भी बहुत अच्छा सलूक कर रहे हैं. जैसे कि हमारे पास पाकिस्तान में हमारे पॉलिटिशियंस हमारे साथ जो कर रहे हैं, ये सारे हमारे अपने हैं. कोई बाहर से हमने इनको दरामद बरामद नहीं किया हुआ. तो जो एक प्योर ब्रेन है, एक प्योर हार्ट है, देखिए इट टेक्स टू टू क्लैप.
True.
आपकी कम्युनिकेशन, अगर लेट्स से कि यू आर अ वेरी वेरी क्लियर, प्योर एंड ट्रूथफुल पर्सन, and now you expect everybody else to connect with you, I think that somehow it won't be possible. Why? Because for the connection to be strongly established, you need two identical devices,
Hmm.
two identical hearts, two identical brains. And that identity which I'm talking about is merely purity. If you are pure at your heart, if you are if you're a person, and honestly, I would call all those people who I believe are pure, the people of faith. Because I have never seen a person in my whole life, not a single person. Even when I say faith, I have earlier said, and I'm repeating myself for people probably who have missed that part, that the people who believe, somehow they have started to believe in something which they do not see, feel, smell, hear, but still they believe. These are the people of faith to me. And all those pure people out there, including Shaji, Shaji is greatly, greatly blessed with purity. And this is why I love him. You see, our connection from day one is stronger than ever, like more than brothers. And it is just because I do not consider myself that pure a person as Shaji is, honestly, because I am little jumbled up. But because some purity I carried and a lot of purity Shaji carried, this connection got established. And
True.
then, because what happens is then such a connection, once it is established, then the stronger part somehow influences the weaker part.
Hmm. 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 Exactly.
Like Shaji talking about those meetings when we will meet. Of course, I am elder. Shaji respects me, great of him. But you see, I always have believed that people like Shaji, brothers and friends like Shaji, they are the asset to me. Why? Because they bring this purity to me, something which I need the most.
Hmm. Hmm.
And this is, I believe, is something which everybody else in this world needs if they want to create greater bonds, great and pure connections. People, I hear those stories since childhood that every man and woman, they want to be loved by the other gender, especially their lovers. Now, husband wants to be loved by a wife, wife wants to be loved by a husband, and then so on and so forth. And somehow we are not achieving those levels just for
Hmm.
mere simple reason. And that reason is now very, very evident in front of us that one of them or probably both of them are lacking this bandwidth which is required to establish this pure connection.
Undoubtedly, yes. Now let's move on to another
So
dimension
we
of
will have
being
a
truthful.
better connection.
Sure. So now I think let's talk about it in a broader perspective because this whole idea of Khud Aagahi is self-discovery, right? So I would like to link this topic with self-discovery. So how being truthful helps you actually discover yourself and helps you discover your true potential and your true strength, like what you are capable of doing. How is truthfulness playing a role in your self-discovery journey? Shaji,
Uh,
would you like to answer it first?
Yeah, that's the same thing because when it's the main fundamentals, if we are following the main fundamentals of truthfulness, so then we have to develop and be accepted the way we are. And then we have to write down and jot down the things of our the personality traits. Okay, like the SWOT analysis. I normally said people are saying the SWOT analysis for the company. I said do the SWOT analysis for yourself, your own personality. So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And because it's an intrapersonal thing, and the threats and opportunities is external things. So you know very well when you are aware of your truth, when you are aware of your all your self-discovery thing. So you have to be point out what strength I have carrying and what weaknesses I have. So how I can overcome my weaknesses and I can utilize my strengths to transform and you can say overwhelm of my weaknesses. How I can. सो उसी तरीके से जब मुझे सारी चीजें पता होंगी तो मुझे पता चलेगा कि मैंने किस चीज पे काम करना है कि मुझे अपनी कौन सी ऐसी इमोशंस है जो मुझे वीकनेस पे लेके जाता है इंस्टेड ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ तो उस एनर्जी को मैंने ट्रांसफॉर्म करना है अपनी स्ट्रेंथ में ठीक है ना जैसे कहते हैं जी, आप रिएक्ट करते हैं क्योंकि आपको गुस्सा आ जाता है, एंगर, तो वो आपकी फिर वीकनेसेस है। लेकिन अगर आप उस एनर्जी को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं, क्योंकि इंसान में ये एबिलिटी है, डिस्ट्रैक्ट करके उस एनर्जी को कहीं और ट्रांसफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, तो वो आपकी स्ट्रेंथ बन गई। तो सेम ही चीज है, सेम इमोशन है, लेकिन सिर्फ डायरेक्शंस। सो जब ये चीजें इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि आपका जो शॉर्ट एनालिसिस और आपका जिसको हम इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस कहते हैं, कि नेक्स्ट लेवल में जाके साइकोलॉजी में ये चीजें सारी एक्सप्लेन की हुई है बहुत वेल, क्योंकि आपके ब्रेन की जो मैग्नीट्यूड्स है वो किस तरह काम करते हैं और किस तरीके से। तो जाहिर सी बात है, जब आपने पर्पस, जिसे कहते हैं पर्पस एंड देन व्हाई, पर्पस डिफाइन किया, तो व्हाई डिफाइन किया, तो आपको सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ही आपकी, जो आपने सेल्फ डिस्कवरी, जिसने अपनी पर्सनालिटी ट्रेड्स को, मैं कहता हूँ वो लकी है अगर उसने अपनी दुनिया में, अपनी जिंदगी में इस चीज को डिस्कवर कर लिया कि उसकी सेल्फ डिस्कवरी क्या है। मतलब खुद आ गया ही जिसे हम कहते हैं, या जब हमने आगे इसको नेक्स्ट क्वांटम उसमें लीप में लेके गए हैं, क्योंकि ये वाकई में क्वांटम लीप है, ये एक फिजिक्स है कि आपने अपनी पूरी लाइफ को अगर आप वो एक सर्किट की तरह डिफाइन करें, ठीक है, सारे फार्मूलों की तरह, तो आपको आइडिया हो जाएगा कि मैं कहाँ था, कहाँ से मैं कहाँ आया और मुझे कहाँ जाना है। मुझे ये पता है जाना कहाँ है और कहाँ से आया था, लेकिन यहाँ दरमियान में मुझे उस चीज को किस तरह इंटरलिंक और कनेक्ट करना है इन दो नोन टू अननोन और अननोन टू नोन में, उसको कनेक्ट करना है। उसके लिए मुझे बहुत अच्छे तरीके से सेल्फ डिस्कवरी करनी पड़ेगी, अपनी सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन करनी पड़ेगी, और ये सब चीजें जब ही हो सकती है कि जब मुझे अपना ये जो एक्सरसाइजेज हैं, आई हैव टू डन थ्रू दीज एक्सरसाइजेज, जिसमें मुझे शॉर्ट एनालिसिस करना है, जिसमें मुझे अपने क्या कहते हैं इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस को जानना है। जब मैं उसको इंटेलिजेंटली जानूंगा तो फिर मैं उस पर काम करूंगा, तो फिर वो चीजें आहिस्ता आहिस्ता मुझे एक मेरी पर्सनालिटी को, जिसे वो पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट भी कहते हैं, क्योंकि पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट जब भी होगी जब आपकी, देखिए जिस तरह ताहिर भाई ने बड़ा अच्छा बताया, बात की कि नॉलेज होना एक डिफरेंट चीज है, लेकिन उस नॉलेज को कैरी करके आगे ट्रांसफॉर्म करना इन अ वे, दैट्स द गेम चेंजिंग थिंग, कि हाउ, कि वो किस तरह जो है वो असर अंदाज कर रहा है। ठीक है, हमारे बहुत सारे टीचर हमारी जिंदगी में गुजरे हैं, लेकिन कुछ कुछ टीचर ऐसे होते हैं जो हमें बिल्कुल ट्रांसफॉर्म कर देते हैं। सो दिस इज वही के पढ़ाना और पढ़ाने का जो अंदाज है वो हमें ये सेल्फ डिस्कवरी से ही पता चलेगा कि मेरी कौन सी बात है। मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ जो कम्युनिकेशन में है ना, ये दिस इज यहाँ से और यहाँ सारी इंफॉर्मेशन ये रिसीविंग है, ठीक है, ये गिवर है। तो इस गिवर को आपने किस तरह फिल्टर करना है कि अगले की, फर्ज करें अगर किसी बुराई को आपने आइडेंटिफाई करना है, तो आप किसी पीर फकीर औलिया को देखेंगे वो किस तरह आइडेंटिफाई करते थे कि अगले को शर्मिंदगी भी होती थी लेकिन उसको पता भी नहीं चलता था। तो आपने अगर अगले को ट्रांसफॉर्म करना है तो वो इस अंदाज से, मैं कहता हूँ ये फिल्टर करके देना है कि उसको पता तो लगे कि मुझे क्या चीज सही करनी है, लेकिन इस अंदाज में कि उसको अच्छा असर भी हो और वो उसको चेंज भी करे।
ठीक है, ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच शादी। ताहिर, व्हाट वुड यू लाइक टू से अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन?
देखिए जी, सेल्फ डिस्कवरी in a nutshell is a process to reach to the ultimate reality of you and the world you exist in. Now, we somehow described it in one sentence, but this process, and to understand this process fully, sometimes hundreds and thousands of years of your life is not enough really. But because we have to continue to endeavor, and we have to put and find ways to provide ourselves some novel ways to discover ourselves quickly, easily, simply, and then the same should be given to younger generations and other people to learn from. I believe the quickest way to at least begin this journey, because I believe that self discovery is not something which you automatically do or it happens. Like if
Hmm.
I mean you, if we are alive and we are living this life, it does not mean that we are on a journey to discover ourselves. We are not. We are on a journey to discover the reality outside. While self discovery, as the word itself uh, is evident to describing, that self discovery is your journey inwards.
Yes.
And to fully understand whatever is outwards, somehow the people of inside, they have believed throughout ages, or the people of intuition, if you would allow me to use, they have believed through ages that our 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 true potential, our true parts, and our true reality is hidden somehow inside us. And when somebody hints towards a journey into us or into yourself, to put it in a very, very simple formula, I would say let's begin this journey by asking a very, very simple question. And then probably we can ask more questions and take this stair to the highway of, uh, not highway, to the building of discovering ourselves. The very, very basic and fundamental question is, does this existence of mine and yours and everybody else's belong to this world, or this belongs to somewhere else? And are we all headed towards another word, or this is the word to be living in and to be perishing in? If we ask this question repeatedly, intuitively, and with the pure intent to get to the answers, believe me, I think the journey of self discovery would automatically trigger. And then there are further questions and further steps which one can take, and then probably reach to those heights or those levels which others they have never discovered or enjoyed.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and then just a little bit adding into this first question. The whole discussion today, the whole conversation today revolved around truthfulness. Now, connect this truthfulness with you asking this question. Go back, rewind everything, and listen to everything, whatever we discussed. And you can easily understand that a person who is asking this question, if somehow lacks on some beliefs, and the beliefs, when I'm saying beliefs, then I'm hinting towards what we have talked about,
Hmm.
then it is very likely that the people with certain beliefs are going to be finding the next level very, very soon and very, very quickly. And the people who are lacking certain beliefs, or let's put it plainly, the people of untruth source, or the people of um, of uh, lies and trickery, or whatever you want to put it and whatever way you want to put it. But I would say that the people of of not uh, n- not understanding the reality. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I don't find mild words for something which I have to say, and this is why I have to use some uh, harsh and hard words. I'm sorry if I do that and if it hurts somebody. But if you're a person who lies, if you're a person who is a tricker, if you're a person who deceives people, if you're a person of um, lesser of a faith, then honestly, first you need to work on all those or on those elements and all those faculties, improve on them. And once you are able to reach this point where you can be classified, or we can be classified as pure-hearted people, the answer to this question will manifest itself very, very quickly and very, very straightforwardly to you and to me. And with that, I think if you would like to into the next step, we can talk. But I think linking self-discovery with truthfulness, very simply put forward, if you are not truthful, there is no self-discovery possible. Forget about it.
Hmm, hmm. Yes, yes, absolutely. Now, I think let's get into another dimension of truthfulness, which we don't usually talk about, but I think that's a very, very important aspect, and it's quite missing from all those discussions that we usually conduct. Now, what do you think? Because now recent researches have been conducted about the physical aspects of being not being truthful. So, what do you think? That are there any physical implications, like implications on your health and well-being when you are not being truthful? What is your opinion about that?
Shaji or me?
सर आप
Whoever wants to go first.
इस पे आप ज्यादा अच्छे से डिस्क्राइब कर सकते हैं.
Okay, I think one has to understand ये जो हमारी physicality है, this physicality is nothing. We are alive because there is something. The source of me alive is unknown to the medical science, to the whole world. Religiously, we believe that I am carrying a spirit which is inside me, and this is why I am alive. Some medical guys, they will probably have their own definitions and understanding, but then there are situations and there are cases where people physically they are just okay, everything is fine, and still they die. Now we have to understand that the our physical reality is not only connected to our inner reality, our spiritual reality, but it also, as we earlier talked about, it is externally connected to everything and everybody else in this world, to a stronger level or to a weaker level. For you can definitely argue, but it is connected. Now, a person, and then another very, very important aspect to understand, the the understanding to our reality. When we were talking about our understanding to our reality, doesn't that imply, or doesn't that mean that how actually I am and what is best suitable for me? I mean, it clearly says, it clearly does. Like, you see, if we will talk about connections, the best connection I would like to have is what? Best connection, right or wrong? I would not like to have my best connection as no connection. And then
True.
we understood to have those connections, you have to have this spiritual purity inside you, which would somehow become the bandwidth of your communication with others, people, and things at large. Now, if it was that strong a phenomena, which was externally connecting you to all the purest form of life, don't you think that you yourself, you have a life inside you? I mean, there's a whole system inside you. Those organs are there, and somehow this life is being induced into them by something which we have not been able to understand, but intuitively or religiously some people they have come to understand that this is our true being inside us.
Hmm.
Now your physical reality gets uh, some kind of harm or damage through and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly says in Quran that when you lie and do bad and sin, your heart actually gets blacker. And it is just one reference. Now what I believe is that our whole physiology in fact gets affected by how we feel and perceive things. Why? Because whatever exists has some impact and effect on us, the way we have on everything else. That is internally, that is externally also. I can tell you that there are many people, if not hundreds or if not thousands, there are many people which so many of you would know and probably vouch that they had the ability to sit hundreds and thousands of kilometers away and impact people, you see, this far, somehow not even interacting through video link, somehow not even communicating on the telephone, but they still did. It means that your physical being has the same kind of impression or impact which your spiritual being has. So they
True.
are interconnected. They are fused with each other until or unless they are taken apart, and that is the day when we die. Now, until we are dead, this is very important for us to understand that whatever I believe and upon whatever I build upon those beliefs, if
Hmm.
it is based on truthfulness, it is going to impact everybody around me, in my circle, beyond that circle, depending upon the level of purity I have achieved. And so is the case internally. It is going to come back to me first. I am going to become the first beneficiary. If you
Hmm.
remember, and I think most of us can easily remember that all our elders who we throughout their life we watched them praying namaz, doing the right things, saying the right thing, never sinning into, you see, anything of any kind, very proper and full of decorum life they led. And I can give you the example of my you see, maternal grandfather who used to smoke hookah all his life. And being a person who was very health conscious since my childhood, I then started thinking that he is going to die very soon. Why? Because whenever I see him, I mean, he's smoking hookah. And hookah is very clear cut, thousand times more injurious than, you see, smoking a cigarette. And that was a very simple math to do, and I understood this. but he lived his life up to 90s without no problem whatsoever. And when he died, Alhamdulillah, he died of a mild fever. And I myself went, and of course, I gave him the bath, the last bath. And this is something which I've been talking to so many of my near and dear ones, that I looked at his physical body, and it was amazing. I mean, he looked like a child body. I mean, a child's body, like one can imagine a young child dying. His body was just smooth, very, very nice. Now, what was the reason behind this man who lived more than 90 years and had no disease whatsoever and died very, very calmly without any cancer and this and that? Just a mild fever, just one thing. Because the way he led his life was on the basis of purity and truthfulness.
True.
Of course, he wasn't the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a mere man like me and you. But what we have to understand is that probably there is this basic level of purity. If we achieve, so many things will become very, very naturally positive towards us. And then probably we don't become saints and we don't become those higher entities. Uh, uh, Still, I think we'll be able to will be able to, towards the end of the days, we'll be able to say to ourselves that at least we reach to a basic level of purity, where not only this purity impacted us physically, spiritually, but it is going to in turn impact everybody else in our family, in our friends, in our circle, and wherever it reaches. And that is the legacy which every human being should be aspiring to leave behind. Because whatever you leave as physical assets, they are not going to manifest nothing for you other than probably your offspring quarreling upon those things once
Hmm.
you're dead. These are the legacies which all those people, like the most wonderful, the most courageous, the most pure, the most of everything, was just one person who ever walked on this planet Earth. And it was, of course, our
Prophet.
Prophet Muhammad upon him. And why he chose not to leave no physical asset behind? Very, very clearly understandable, because he was carrying this purest form of reality, which he knew that is going to impact people till the eternity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that he is rahmatul lil alameen, like to people like me and you, I mean some scientific minded people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the level of purity my messenger carries has the impact beyond this alam to the alameens, to rest of the olives wherever I have created. And me and you, we know that sometimes you need hundreds and thousands of light years to reach to another galaxy. Let alone we are talking about, you see, this universe, and maybe there are other universes, God knows. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you in a very, very simple format that if you achieve some kind of purity, your impact is going to be not only inwards on you, but you would, while you are alive, you would leave this impact on people and things around you. And then when you are gone, this impact will remain. And probably if it has the intensity to live, then probably till eternity.
Yes, undoubtedly. Very well said. I think now, wrapping up this discussion, My last question to both of you would be like, what are those practices and what are those tips that one can follow to be truthful? And what could be those practices or easy tips that one can easily follow to adopt the truthfulness in his or her life?
And basically, the first thing is, he or she can, in front of mirror, talk to him or herself and see. From today, it's like आज इतनी डिस्कशन हुई है, सो आज से उनका माइंडसेट में ये चीज हो जानी चाहिए कि दे विल सी द अदर साइड ऑफ द 360 डायमेंशन, जिसे होता है ना, कि मतलब खोल के सामने दे देना। तो उस डायमेंशंस को सामने रख के अब वो देखें तो उनको शायद कुछ रिवील होगा कि नाउ दिस इज व्हाट माय रियलिटी इज। ऐसी नजर आती है मेरी रियलिटीज, है फिजिकली है, और whatever I am carrying, that's not that's the way I am carrying, और इसको अच्छा बनाना है इंटरनली स्पिरिचुअली एवरीथिंग। तो उसको डेली बेसिस पे जो है वो प्रैक्टिस करनी होगी। डेली बेसिस पे अगर स्पिरिचुअली करना है तो अपने आप को एक्स्ट्रा, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, एक्स्ट्रा माइल, जो एक्स्ट्रा काम करता है वो एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी हमेशा होता है। तो वो एक एक्स्ट्रा काम उसने करना है अपनी सारी चीज़ों को जो है प्योर करने के लिए, अपने आप को ट्रूथफुलनेस को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए, उसको बेटर करने के लिए, सेल्फ डिस्कवरी करने के लिए उसको डेली बेसिस पे जो है थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा काम करना होगा। आधा घंटा खुद पे लगाना होगा, खुद से बातें करनी होगी, खुद के बारे में लिखना होगा और खुद की डेवलपमेंट करनी होगी। सो दिस इज व्हाट माय मैसेज इज टू मतलब वो जैसे हमेशा मैं एंड में कहता हूँ कि अल्लामा इकबाल के शेर है कि खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है। तो वो खुद ही जो हमने तलाश करनी है, वो देखिए ना, खुद ही अगर देखा जाए दुनियावी लिहाज से, तो जिसने डिस्कवर किया उसने फेसबुक, एप्पल, टेस्ला बना दिया, वो दुनिया का बेंचमार्क है। और इसी तरह औलिया किराम देखें तो उनके भी बेंचमार्क, मतलब वो फिजिकली यहाँ मौजूद नहीं है, लेकिन उनकी जो तालीमात हैं या उनकी जो रूहानियत है, वो अगर आप रिवील करना चाहें तो उसको आप एब्जॉर्ब कर रहे हैं। दिस इज हाउ द वे इज।
Thank you, Shaji. Now, Tahir, what is your take on it?
Shaji has given a beautiful example, really, to stand in front of mirror and I think I would say ask another question. When you stand in front of the mirror, ask yourself. First of all, ask yourself the person you see. And if you are a liar, then of course, ask yourself that the person you see is a liar. Let's say that I lied to you or I lied to Shaji, and now I am the one standing in front of the mirror. Ask yourself that if I was being lied to, the same thing which I lied to somebody, and this person is unaware, this person doesn't know that I have lied something to this person. If the same thing was being lied to me, how would I have felt in my heart? How would I have felt, and how would I have taken this person as in my eyes? Would I respect this person ever again? Would I believe this person ever again? Would I ever even want to have any close relation with this person again? And if I am getting the answer as no, then I should ask myself, on what basis do I believe that now I have lied to those people, and sooner or later they are going to know the truth. And once the truth is revealed, then where do I stand? Would they ever like to meet me again, respect me again, deal with me again, have any kind of relation or bonding with me again? So this is probably the basic question, and this is why we time and again we talk about empathy, that put yourself into somebody else's shoes and then try to feel the feeling of this person. Then only, because we are logical beings, then only we'll be able to logically reach to a conclusion that I would not like to do things to people which I do not want them to do to me.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Exactly,
And
exactly.
somehow, even one calls it selfish, but I think that this is a selfish way of discovering selflessness.
Wow, wow. I think we will end it up here. Thank you so much, Shaji. Thank you so much, Tahir, for such an insightful session. It was really, really wonderful to listen to both of you guys. I think whoever was with us and watching this show must have learned a lot from it. Now, I would like to say goodbye to all of you. We would be having a lot of other sessions, inshallah ta'ala, with a lot of subjects that are very, very important.
Because
And
we are learning. Because we are
exactly,
learning how to conduct sessions.
exactly, exactly. We are learning. I
Thank you
think
very
that's
much,
the biggest
everybody.
truth of today. So, yes, inshallah ta'ala, see you guys all again in the next session. So, take care and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you very much.
Allah Hafiz.